Hey, welcome back to my channel. They call me Charisma. I am in my car, as you can see. And I have been thinking a lot because I know I told you that Pluto is in retrograde. And it is in retrograde until October, 5 whole months. Pluto is this planet of the underbelly, that deeper consciousness. Pluto is known as that planet of destruction, death, transformation. And for me, it is requiring that I look at things in a different way. Things that I have been doing, places that I have been in, relationships I have been in, examining those things to see if they still fit me as a person. Thoughts that I have had. You know, you grow up a certain way. All of us have been raised, even if people say, you know, my parents didn't raise me, my grandmother raised me, my aunt raised me. You've still been raised by people who have their own theology about life. And as you grow, you change that to fit how you are, if you are paying attention to yourself. Or you follow that theology, that thinking that they raised you with, and sometimes you find yourself in a situation that no longer suits you. You know, you're living a life that's really not yours. You're thinking thoughts that are really not yours, and you're behaving in a way that may not even be what your true behavior is. And you find yourself married sometimes to someone you don't even like or know, or you find yourself in relationships with people that you say are your friends, but they're really not your friends because they're not supportive of the person that you may be becoming. And I think sometimes that's what you see with these maggot, that's what I call them, people who have voted for a felon and now they have an outcome and they're shocked and surprised because some of these thoughts and ideas really may not be their own. It's something that they thought they agreed with, but really it's not, because I'm going to say, for example, in the school system, programs that are being taken away from students that learn differently, and this person has a child that learns differently, and now an after-school program that was beneficial to their child no longer exists. And then you realize the things that you and your friends have been talking about and saying about other people, it applies to you. And I know I'm going off topic, but I'm also trying to keep my temper, because, you know, sometimes when I get in my car, I get to cussing and popping and, you know, and I'm trying not to be that person. I'm trying to have good karma, friend. I don't want bad karma. So I saw this video that Godfrey had on his channel. This palm-colored woman with her palm-colored child. Small child. Child was in her arms. That's how small this baby was. They were on the playground. And she threw her middle finger up at a child that was just as small as her own and called this child the N-word. A child just as small as her own, for breaking a toy that was her child's. And so you could see her child, but you couldn't see the African-American child that she was calling the N-word and that she had thrown her middle finger up at. And you could hear a man saying to her, you're saying this to a child? You're doing this to a child? And she was like, yes, that's what they are. He's acting like one. That's what he is. And I was not surprised at her behavior. I was grateful that this man stepped in and said what he said, and that somebody videotaped it. I don't know where the parents of the child was, or maybe this man was the parent of the child. I don't know. It always scares me when African American people let their child just be outside playing. And I know children should be able to do that. They should be. Our children should be able to go and play and have a good time, just like everybody else's child. But unfortunately, they cannot. You have to watch your child in a way that other people don't have to. And I'm talking about this as well because of the nurse at the Henrico Doctors Hospital in Henrico, Virginia, that basically assaulted infants. How she did this. 8 infants in the NICU were injured by this heifer. This, I don't know if I can call her a human being. Injured African American babies only in a NICU. And you know, babies in the NICU are very small, very fragile. This heifer was allowed to do this. And you know, when you are a nurse working on a unit with any baby, you're not working alone. There are other nurses there. So she didn't do this on the low, in silence. Nobody saw you. Other nurses are there. She has a supervisor. All these people are complicit as far as I'm concerned. But she did this more than one time, 8 times total, allegedly. And she was allowed to be put on leave with pay. They put her behind bars for a moment, and there she is out on bail. Henrico doctors have not been charged with anything. They are not held responsible for any reason, even though she was working there at their hospital. And my feeling, my opinion is that if she were melanated at all, even slightly melanated, she would have been fired, arrested right then and there, and she would be in jail right now awaiting court to be sentenced. Her license for nursing would be taken away from her immediately. And every nurse that worked with her would be testifying against her. And I guess I'm talking about this because it is one of those things that bothers me. And for me, this is maybe one of the ways Pluto is showing up for me. Maybe this is one of those underbelly things, that thing that is bothering me. Because remember I told you I was feeling weird, like I felt like something was bothering me beyond the typical things that you know, your everyday life of you going to the grocery store and first eggs was $12 and now they $1,200. I'm just appalled. And I know that, you know, Mother's Day is coming up. And maybe it's that. Maybe it's because May is that month where my mother passed away, and that bothers me too. But, friend, thank you for listening to my my wonders, because it is puzzling to me, and I am always analyzing and wanting to know. And so I come here and bring it to you because I want to know about you too. Is this Pluto feeling showing up for you? We have a full moon coming up in Scorpio. And when I looked out last night, I could see it. But it is scheduled to come up on Monday. And Scorpio is that fixed water sign. So this was a all over the place type of video, I think, but think about it. See how it sits with you. Let me know in the comments. Please like, share, and subscribe. They call me Charisma.